The history of Drake and The Weeknd goes way back. And when I say way back, I mean way back. But let me explain. If you watch part one of this series, then you would know we left off where Ken Kane, who was able, changed his name to The Weeknd and he was about to meet Drake. And for those that don't know who Ken Kane is, go watch part one. But we left off around 2010, 2011, where The Weeknd was working on the House of Balloons. Now, a couple songs that I already dropped, and that included What You Need, Loft Music, and The Morning, which if you're a Weeknd fan, you recognize all these tracks. Now, before all this, The Weeknd did have some music out, but it wasn't really official music, and it was all under the name The Noise, which was a music production team that helped The Weeknd record a couple songs such as Material Girl, Birthday Suit, y'all know. But aside from that, The Weeknd's main focus was House of Balloons. After the release of the first 3 tracks from House of Balloons, Drake immediately was like, wait, who is this person? Just to add a little bit of context, Drake was fresh off the release of So Far Gone, and honestly, he was the biggest artist not just in Canada, but also the United States. So when The Weeknd started dropping these new ethereal sounding tracks that took Canada by storm, Drake knew he had to get connected. After both men started going on tour for their projects, they decided to link up backstage and finally chop it up. But before linking up, Drake was what I like to call The Weeknd evangelist. He never really missed out on a chance to promote The Weeknd back then. Even on his OVO Sound blog, he said introducing The Weeknd, but this was in December 2010. House of Balloons didn't release until like 4 months later in March. So we can see that before this link up that Drake already knew about The Weeknd and he might have even been a fan of The Weeknd, tweeting Wicked Game song lyrics before the project was even out. So at this moment, they finally got to link up and Drake just gave his appreciation, loves, and respect to The Weeknd. Pretty much telling him he loves his work and he would love for him to work on his next project. And the name of that project was Take Care. Weeknd had agreed to work with Drake, and being that he was an up-and-coming artist at the time, it made sense. And that's how we got songs like Crew Love and The Ride. And not to say that these were the only songs we got from these two, but these were the only ones that were credited. Because then we would later find out, from Drake, The Weeknd co-wrote a few songs. Shot For Me, Practice, and who knows how many other songs. And that's not to take away from Drake's pen, but it's just showing that The Weeknd played a part in the sound that we know to love Drake for, which is Take Care. It's safe to say during this time while they were working together that Drake and The Weeknd grew very close. I mean, man, Drake was flicking up with The Weeknd's parents. Due to this, it kind of seemed like after the release of Take Care, a lot of people started associating The Weeknd with Drake. This is when we start getting the development of an era that some of you guys may know as OVO XO. And this pretty much was Drake and The Weeknd becoming the poster boys for rap music and R&B music in Canada. Also in America too, but being that they're from Canada, it was more prominent in Canada. Now, something I forgot to mention in my last video was that the House of Balloons was released under XO, but XO was not an official label at the time. And it also became the unofficial label for his next 2 projects, Echo of Silence and Thursday. And if you're a Weeknd fan, you would know that all these projects together create the trilogy, which was actually dropped under XO, an official label. Because around the same time The Weeknd met Drake, him and his homeboy Sal had officially made XO a label with Republic Records, which made the trilogy an official project. But to Drake, that was an issue because he wanted to sign The Weeknd. Having The Weeknd a part of his OVO label was a dream, but because of what he had just done with Republic, that was impossible. And though this might have been seen as an act of betrayal, The Weeknd told Drake, thank you for everything. But to Drake, a thank you was not enough. The Weeknd owed him a favor that we would see slowly turn into destruction. But I'm gonna stop it right there because a lot of you guys already know this story, and to be honest, it's still playing out. But if you like this video and you want to